Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contract, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show.
Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, today I have Grant Aldrich on the line, and he's CEO and founder over at OnlineDegree.com. Grant, welcome to the show.
Adam, thank you for having me.
All right, so some pretty big news today. So OnlineDegree.com is expanding to start offering certifications. I want to get into that on kind of why you expanded and also some of the things that that my listeners can expect when they go there with your expanded offering. But before we do that, I'd like to go a little bit further into the history and into your company. So tell us a little bit more about OnlineDegree.com, please.
Yeah, sure. Well, it really just started with the mission, which was to make degrees, a college education affordable for everybody. I mean, I think everyone knows and sees today that college has never been more affordable to go and get back to school and get the education that we need, especially for working adults. And it's never been more accessible. I mean, college is just, there's an estimated 35 to 40 million working adults who are looking to upskill, change careers, make their lives better. And the current system has made it so difficult to do it because, one, we can't leave work in the middle of the day to go to class. We need to make sure it works on our schedule. We're busy. We've got responsibilities. And we've got, and obviously, the cost as well. You can't amortize the cost of a degree like we're in our 20s when, you're in your 30s and 40s. So anyway, that's where we started, and it went really well. So basically, the gist of it is that we're a modern alternative to the community college system. So at OnlineDegree.com, you can come to the website in 60 seconds, get started without entrance exams or applications, start taking college-level courses that are very interesting, like robotics, programming, anything you want, and which will all count towards credit, towards your degree at our partner institutions, saving you time and money, and we do it for free.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing, and I couldn't agree with you more. And I love where things have gone because for some of the people listening right now that are maybe really young and that are thinking like this didn't used to be possible at one point. You couldn't just go online, get a degree, you couldn't get a credit, you couldn't do a lot of these things. And now that it's so accessible, especially I love that you bring that up, the mid-career people or the people that are more than a couple years out of school already and they're thinking about it, and maybe they have kids, maybe they have other obligations. Obviously, they possibly work full-time or probably work full-time, I should say. Like, it's just hard. You can't just, to get in the car, do all these other things. It's just not convenient. I love what you're doing over there. So let's get into the expansion to start offering certifications. So you obviously started with degrees. Tell us a little bit more about this move to offering certifications.
Yeah, well, the reality is that a degree is not a viable or appropriate path for many of those 35 to 40 million people who want to upskill. It can be. For example, if you want to be a teacher, you're going to need a degree. Or if you want to be an accountant, you'll need a degree. But for so many people, they want to upskill. They're unhappy with their career, or their career's been outsourced, or it's been replaced by robot automation. Whatever that is, they want a better career in a growing industry that's going to pay well right away. So we expanded into certification. And what's a certification? This is something that's far shorter, far more affordable than a degree is. So think 2 to 6 months, all the training that you need to get the certificate. And once you have that certificate, you're ready to get all of these in-demand careers and jobs. So I'll give you a great example. The medical career is just taking off, right? Despite, we all know, right, the baby boomers are aging. Medical and healthcare expenses are a larger part of GDP every single year. So that industry needs great people. So there are tons of medical certifications you can get where you don't even have to touch blood on a daily basis, right? There's lots of other parts or aspects of providing medical care where they are in high demand, and you could take a certification and short term again and be able to be ready to get those high paying jobs. It's phenomenal.
And that's awesome. And I want to go a little bit further into the nuts and bolts of this, because there's some people listening that this will be the first time that they're really seriously considering either an online certification or an online degree, either or, because maybe there's some interchange between this. So explain a little bit more kind of how these programs typically work, just in general.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we've kind of a role that we've assumed is to really help people figure out what the best path is for them. Because, look, we can all admit as adults, we don't always know what we want to be when we grow up. And this industry of higher education is complex. It's not clear. It's not obvious what your options are. So we've broken all of that down because, again, as you know, my mission was really to create like a modern alternative to that community college, which was free and better. So we're able to provide a service where, if a student comes on and comes registered on the platform, the first thing we do is get them some help that they need, right? Which never happens when you're at a community college. You have to, go in line and wait, take a number, and it can be months before you see a counselor. So the first thing we do is, again, try to figure out what is that good fit. And, a lot of times a degree is appropriate. We've got lots of partners for that. And we have a lot of adult-friendly schools and discounts we organize. So you can save, up to 30, 40% of your degree by taking our courses and all these different suggestions that we do to basically hack your way in. On the certification side, certification might be the better fit. You may say, look, I want to get into healthcare and I want to get something where I'm already going to be able to make money out of the gate. That's important. Perfect. You know what? There's these certification programs we have where they're also discounted. We can help you get started at and figure out which one's the shortest, which is going to prepare you the best, and get you the best price. So it's really just trying to figure out what that best fit is for each individual person.
That's awesome, and that whole counseling part. I guess you can't stress that enough because that is hard. You're online, you're just looking around, and I think that holds a lot of people back from taking that next step. Is that they don't, they feel like maybe they don't have the help and they don't have, and it is tricky. It's hard to navigate all these things. So love the work you're doing, love the approach to it. So that being said, so Grant, if somebody is listening to this and they want more information on onlinedegree.com, or they want to follow up to connect just to learn more about the overall brand, what are the best ways for them to reach out and to do that?
Yeah, well, thank you. Even if someone isn't, if someone is interested, of course, in going back, obviously we can be a really valuable resource. But in addition to that, we have a huge cult following now because the transformation that we're bringing to higher education, which is such a huge broken system, it's just been so overwhelmingly welcomed by industry people in academia, in the press. We've been in Forbes, Inside Higher Ed, all these awesome publications. So there's a lot of eyes on what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how we're changing it for the better. So, you can go to onlinedegree.com, follow the project there. I'm also very active on LinkedIn. So if you go to LinkedIn, you could just search my name, Grant Aldrich, onlinedegree.com. You can follow what we're doing there. And, either way, again, if it's something that could help you, awesome. Or if it's something that you just want to follow that we're doing because you're rooting for better solutions maybe for your kids, whatever it is, those are two good avenues.
Fantastic. Well, Grant, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about what you're doing over at onlinedegree.com and how you're helping people. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Grant, thanks again for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, Adam.